Hey everybody, it's Christy with Fur Babies and Friends. I am a positive reinforcement-based trainer based out of Glendale, Arizona, and I am here to show you some of the basic obedience commands, how to train from the very beginning, from a lure perspective, into getting a verbal cue. So we are going to start with my training dog. Hello. So when you are training a sit, anytime you train any command, it is important that you are very clear on what success looks like for your dog in that command. So with a sit, we are actually looking for the dog to put their butt on the ground. And that's important because that's when the treat has to come. So when you are training, I always like to use a OK sign with my hand. So I will use an OK sign and I will hold the treat between my thumb and my pointer finger. That way it's very clear to the dog that they see the treat. And then my hand position never changes, especially as we move towards other commands. The dog, we kind of take away one area of confusion and we're just doing the straight luring. So to train a dog to sit is if they have a default sit, we can go over a stand. But to train a dog to sit, the most important thing to do is you're going to put the treat in front of their nose and stand. And you're going to slowly push their nose back until they have a sit. He hasn't had to be lured into a sit for a long time. So he's like, what are you doing, Mom? So if you want to practice and get them out of the sit, you can ask for the stand command. So the stand command, you're going to go put the treat towards their nose. You're going to pull back slowly until the dog gets up on all fours, release the treat, okay? Then you can practice your sit again. I'm going to ask him. Notice, I'm not asking him to sit right away. If you're practicing and you're brand new with this, it's important to not say anything. That way your dog is really just learning what you're asking of it without any verbal cues, and they're just following the lure and completing the behavior in a timely manner. So again, I'm going to ask for a stand. He gets all the way up. I release the treat. I'm going to put him back into a sit. And I release the treat when his butt hits the ground. So a couple of important things to note. So it's really important to keep the treat really close to your dog's nose, especially for a sit, and just push them back. So you just push their nose back until they get a sit. So as you do this motion, and the dog has no choice but to kind of tip back and put its butt on the ground. So once your dog starts to understand that that's what that hand motion or that's what that lure is, that's when you can start to pair your verbal cue with the hand sign. So sit, and make sure you only say it once. If you go and you start to add a verbal cue and you're doing the hand lure, but your dog is not complying, then your dog doesn't understand the actual behavior. And that's really important. So go back just to luring back in position, or ask yourself, did you change something from the luring to adding the verbal cue that is confusing the dog, and work to fix that. Now stand, again, is just a flat palm. And you're just going to pull. This is one where a lot of people go too fast. They pull way too fast and the dog loses focus and they don't know what to do. So for a good stand, I'm going to put him in a sit. I'm actually going to do it sideways here. So for a good stand, let them eat the treat. Slowly pull until they get up on all fours and then release the treat. If your dog is really stubborn and gets stuck, I have sometimes had to work with the dog. You might want to kind of stutter step as you pull your treat back to see if you can lure them. I was like, what are you doing? Good boy. So those two commands. So sit, palms to the sky, 45 degrees to 75 degrees. Stand is, at least at the beginning, parallel to your side, right? You can also do in walking commands. You can ask for a default sit at your side when we get into that. Stand can also be used while walking. Stand. Okay. And stand is often forgotten about command. I like to use it, one, because it helps a dog switch positions and helps them learn to listen to you more before they just decide to do something else. The other major thing is stand is a very useful cue at the vet's office or even at the groomers. Like at the vet, if they're getting the thermometer, they might sit, tuck their butt, and you need a way to get them up so that the vet techs or the doctor can work on them. Or at the groomers, if they want to tuck their butt or they need to be standing for their nails done, stand is a really often overlooked cue that is really good to practice, especially for dogs that have really good default sits. So hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned a lot. Just remember that sit is 45 degrees to 75 degrees, one swooping motion, palms to the sky. Stand is parallel to your side until they get up back on all fours. Happy training.